Wow, this is really cool. I got a little gift here from Squibload. So that what a cool surprise. So thank you. That's really neat. I've been using Ballistol for a while now. When I was living on the island, that's when I first got a hold of this stuff, and been using it ever since. But Squibload sent that to me, or sent it to Santee over there in Ghost Riders, and he got it to me. So that's really cool. It's a special edition, I guess, or some kind of thing going on. I guess that's the old bottle that they were once shipped in. Yeah, look at that. 1904, I guess that was the original bottle. Then look at how it progressed to, more and more and more. So that's really neat. But I tell you, look at this. What's this? Ballistol, the brand for people, animals, and all things mechanical. Animals. I'm 115 years Ballistol Universal Oil, unchanged quality since 1904. For the anniversary and historical edition for maintaining metal, wood, leather, rubber, synthetic material, skin, animals, coat, and animals coat. I guess they literally they rub it on animals. And much more. Ideally suited for handicraft industry, or agriculture, household, gardening, vehicles, fishing, hunting, and shooting sports. I tell you, I don't get paid from Ballistol, but I'm gonna tell you this: when I lived on the island, and we're talking salt air, salt in the humidity, 100%, everything like that. When I started using this stuff, none of my stuff rusted at all, ever. Amazing. Whatever this stuff is, it's amazing. That is why I continue to use it. So that's really cool. I'm going to have that, that's going to probably, we'll incorporate it or put it on display somehow. But yeah, I'm a big believer in Ballistol. Some people don't believe in it, or they don't like the smell. But you know what? I'd rather actually deal with that smell from that than the harsh chemicals of some of the other solvents and stuff. I really would. All right. So you know what? Speaking of the island and all that, we're actually taking a trip back to memory lane this time and talking about what it was like to be a collector on the island and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, but first of all, we're going to go ahead and read some comments again. We're kind of doing this a little early, this show, the taping and production of this. We're getting an early start. So if your comment was not read, it probably was because we really just didn't get it through the feed yet. So anyway, like I said, we're kind of doing this one a little early during the week. So, but in order to get this stuff out to you, making sure we get it all processed and everything for you for a Saturday morning show, sometimes we got to get an early start on this stuff. All right. KSFWG, as one collector to another, congratulations. I'm glad to see you found one of your unicorns and crossed it off your list. Yeah. That was pretty much a big one for me. There's really not a whole lot left. So, in a sense, I'm not sure what will be next on the list or buying or anything like that. So, yeah. All right. But, yeah, thank you. And if you don't know what we're talking about, if you haven't seen the Last Collectors radio show and everything like that, go check it out and find out what it is. All right. An Angry Ranger, proud of you for finding the Diamondback you sought after for years. As to wood and steel, that's the only way to go. Yes, we got quite a bit of wood and steel right here. All right. Edward Petty, nothing like wood, blue steel and wood. Love your collection, especially Bullet and Brannigan. Yes, two of my top. That's it. I mean, when I think about the Diamondback, that's the movies I think of right there. Joe P, fantastic addition to the collection. Wow. And I went back and rewatched Bullet, and you're right. Almost no clear scenes showing the revolver. Yeah, I mean, it really isn't. That's a funny thing about it. The thing is hardly in the movie. I've always known it was a Colt, though. I must have looked it up on Movie Firearms Database years ago. Yes, that is a dangerous website. It costs me a lot of money a lot of times, but it's very helpful. It helps you identify what exactly was used. Sometimes it helps you identify what else was used. There could have been multiple ones. So, all right, JW, I have to use. I used to have an old model Colt Cobra with the unshrouded rod and 2-inch pipe. The ammo came with it was 158 grain round nose lead. It really snapped a little lightweight when it fired. Yeah, that's right. A Cobra is the lightweight frame, making an unpleasant proposition. I know what you mean because I shot a detective special one time, and it was like I was surprised at how like it really Unfortunately, it was at a friend's house when it was burglarized. I'm sorry to hear that. I hate thieves, man. I've looked everywhere. I looked at every Colt I've ever seen, but the serial number hasn't appeared. But sure, I'll not see it again. I wish I had kept another similar one from Ruger, but I used it in a car trade. Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff we trade off. I mean, I'm guilty of trading off so much stuff. Speed 6 was significantly heavier. Better shooting, though. I also bench loading for some light bullets. Enjoy the comfort of shooting them. Yeah, I shoot with my revolvers. I do. I shoot a lot of lightweight stuff. I really don't shoot a lot of heavy, hard hitting stuff. All right. Let's see. Dimas, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Salazar. Love those old Smith & Wessons, but my favorite is my 2022 Colt Python. The more I shoot it, the smoother it has gotten, and it's a tack driver right out of the box. Now I want another Colt. You know what? And I'm with you on that. Those new Colt Pythons and stuff are excellent. I mean, I know a lot of the collectors and stuff. They're just like freaking out about them, and I think that's mainly because of the market. They're just upset that the market is taking a dive on them. I think, honestly, the reason why I was able to procure my Diamondback for a much lower price. I think the pricing for a lot of the snake guns are starting to come down, which is wonderful because I'm a buyer, and I'm in the market. I wanna pick up some of this stuff, and I'm not the guy that's gonna try to get somebody for a house payment for one piece or something like that, which we'll talk about, how it was living on the island for me and getting pretty much that treatment. All right, Danger Man, congrats on the Diamondback. Welcome to the club, brother. Just curious, what year was that one made? It has silver medallion, so it must be older than my 78 with the gold medallion I got in March. I must admit that I'm a little jealous of the holster, but not enough to risk holster wear. As a collector, I hate holster wear from leather. Too many great finishes wrecked. Only soft holsters for my babies. Yeah, the holster is, in fact, I got it right here. The holster is just, you gotta, for me, it being about the movie, I had to have the holster. And of course, I actually had the holster long before I had the gun, because I got it from Mr. Holster, and what I did was I added that to it because that's what he has in it. But yeah, for me, it's just a display item, really. I'm not going around wearing the thing. I do believe the year on mine is probably very early 70s or so. I had not looked it up, but I'm assuming it is. The fella I got it from did state it was an earlier gun, earlier 70s gun. All right, Harrison Mantooth. Good morning, Batjack and fellow listeners. Great morning radio show. Thank you for giving me the name of that gun shop, Frontier Gun Shop. Yes, a very good gun shop in town here. Just excellent place. Wonderful old school. You go in there, like I said, it's like a time capsule. I have a video of his shop in my feed. You can check it out. He was actually kind enough to let me do a walkthrough. I will definitely pay a visit when I go to AZ this coming fall. Stay safe out there, Stan. Thank you. All right, Jeffrey Richardson, good morning. Again, great information on that 22 revolver. Checks. Yeah, you always got to check out revolvers when you check them out and everything. Again, I'm looking at turn rings. Of course, that's one way to tell. Sometimes if all you got is a picture, that turn ring will tell you. Looking at the lockups, I always look at the forcing cone because I want to see if the forcing cone's got any stress fractures in it, cracks. I mean, sometimes. Another place to check out is the ejector rod. If that ejector rod is worn, heavily worn, that's an indication that somebody's probably shot it a great deal. Smiths also get what they call a little donut right in there. It's a wear spot right where the firing pin protrudes through the frame. So that's some stuff you can just take a look at. Just, quick once-overs when you're checking them out in the shop. Sometimes the guy doesn't really want you to mess with it and you don't really want to insult this stuff. But there's a few things you can just roll through real quickly and check over without them really, paying much attention to. I mean, of course, we'd love to be able to take off grips and look at all that kind of stuff. But just some shops, some time and place, you can't really do it all. And so, yeah. Doing all the checks and everything is certainly one thing I'll make sure I try to do if I can. Love my old Colt Detective. Very handsome, very nice find, and congratulations. Glad you have that holster just to keep Mr. Holster living on. That's right. Mr. Holster lives on through a lot of our videos that we keep, we always mention him. And, that's what I think a lot of us try to do. We always try to mention it, those that passed on, Another one would be Ed USAF. We lost him. He's passed on. So it's interesting that even since when I first started doing this, so many have left us. So it's part of it. It's part of life, and things keep trucking along, right? Slimfire54. Good morning, JW, and thank you for reading our the comments too. Congrats on the Colt revolver. It's a beauty. Thank you. Got to have a holster for all my handguns. It's the second thing I do after purchasing a new or used gun. Thanks, Slim. All right. Russ Elder. How you doing, Russ? All right. Never had a Colt. Had a few Smith & Wessons that I love. 620, 28, 37, 442. The new Python in my hands, but the 1500 just can't do it. Congrats on the Diamondback. Yeah. They're not cheap, but they're, I'm just glad that we got them and we can relax now. We're not getting dragged over the coals for $3,500. All right. Hiram Pritchard, Wood and Steel, yes sir. Giving away my age here. Pistola, Ian Fleming in Casino Royale book. He had James Bond originally carrying a Smith & Wesson Model 40 Centennial. I think that's the one with the hammer and the big shroud on the back, I think, if that's the right one I'm thinking of. Then an upside-down shoulder holster. I have the original Safariland model from 1973. I still use it for my bodyguard. All right, Sean Lee, good Saturday morning. Those are some sexy Colts right there. Thanks for sharing. All right. Yes, JW, those are some good initials. Better than the other alternatives. All right. So here we go. You know what? What was it like being a collector on the island? It was rough. It really was rough because there wasn't a whole lot of options. And when it came down to wanting stuff, it was like for me, because all the stuff I liked was old school stuff. I wanted my old stuff, as they would call it. A lot of times I was quoted prices. I wanted a high power just like that, and I was quoted prices that the fella that was that had one that I really wanted. And now you gotta keep in mind this was going on like 15 years ago. Just when you start hearing stuff, that's quite a time ago. You got to remember, what the prices were then. I can't believe I feel old myself when I think back, man, not like it's been that long. We're talking over a decade, damn near a decade and a half. Where you hear people, they says, "Oh, well, I turned down $1,250 for it." Wow, so it just, it kind of just, there was a lot of stuff I just could not get, or I just, was not going to be able to, afford to get them because the prices. And what I didn't like was the fact that it was like, you know, a lot of times dealing with somebody that was like, you know, they're not your friend, or they're not going to shoot you straight. They're gonna try to rip you off for as much money as they can. I mean, seriously, it just, that's what it was. It was like, you know, I know I only paid somebody probably $200 for this in a Lowe's parking lot, but I'm gonna try to get this guy, this young kid. I'm gonna try to get him for, you know, $1,200-$1,300 or something like this, when I know it probably should only sell for $700 or something like that. That's just the way it was. Early on, I didn't really know any better, but thank goodness that I didn't have the finances. I still don't have the finances, but I mean, I didn't have the finances, so a lot of times I just had to go, I can't do it. Okay, walk away. But then I started getting wiser and started going on Gunbroker. Because Gunbroker, yeah, when you're in that position where you really don't have a whole lot of options, Gunbroker can be your friend. You go on there, you start looking at stuff, and be like, oh, there it is. You know, a good example of that was a Cult Detective special that I really wanted. He was looking to take me for well over $1,000 for one, but luckily he didn't have the right one I wanted. I went on Gunbroker, found mine for $400. Yeah. So anyhow, that's how that works. I'm getting transferred to that, but no, you know, just that's the way it was. It's such a, you don't have a whole lot to choose from, so you're kind of stuck with this, like, I guess I better just grab it because there it is. A lot of things were you couldn't get. I couldn't get Ballistol because it was a hazmat. I was lucky enough that a fellow subscriber and a watcher, I still remember, Bob Hartman. Bob Hartman was the one that sent me my very first bottle of Ballistol and got me to start using it. Once I mentioned it to a buddy of mine that had another shop down in town, he started bringing it in. I guess he was just going to pay the hazmat fee or whatnot. But I started buying them up by the cans from him once he started having it. But, you know, that's the one thing is I always remember a lot of you that, you know, like Bob Hartman, there's so many of you that even though I don't see your comments anymore or whatnot, I still hope you're around and all that. But I always remember, you know, everybody that has helped out the channel in one way or another, helped me out. You know, the channel has done for me much more than, you know, a lot of other things. It put me in touch with people. It helped me get a transition done, even moving from there to, you know, where I'm at now, and meeting that, and then introducing me to other people, and of course leading me to some really good friends that I made. And it just, you know, it's a pretty amazing thing. It's in the end, the network is it's much more than videos and all that. I feel like there's so much connection between a lot of us, and it's a way that we can share together without actually never meeting. Although I met a lot of you out there, meet and greets and all that. So if you do see me, you know, feel free to say hello. Most of you do. I actually met one of you all the way from Ireland, that you came down here to check everything out, and actually had a great time meeting you, and very interesting stories. And he shared with me very interesting things about Ireland. Was like, wow, that's some crazy stuff, man. So it was a pleasure meeting up with you and talking to you and all that. And so you know, every now and then I'm down there in one of those you know, really cool places like Tombstone or something like that, and I run into you, some of you down there, or run into you in shops that I somewhat frequently visit. So although I know that going in there, I try to not go in there because I end up buying something, end up getting something I don't really need, and then I'll have it for a while, and then I'll end up selling it. So, but no. The island life, it was great. I mean, it was truly paradise, but you know, I really wanted to check out something different because it was rough. It was not easy when you know, I had no idea. Like, it was hard for me too because I had no idea if the prices was good, if it wasn't good, if I was getting ripped off, if I wasn't getting ripped off or whatnot. But I tell you, one thing to start doing is, you know, and it's nice now we have the YouTube videos coming out there, but pick up those gun standard catalog of firearms, those books that look like big old Bibles that come out, big old phone book looking things, like Denver size phone books, and keep them. And don't matter if they're outdated or not, you can check and see the progression or regression of prices in those things, and help yourself, at least give you a baseline of price of what what's going for. As in my new line of work now, it's always common to say, well, on eBay it's going for this much, but I'm in the business. I say, well, they can ask whatever they want, but I can, this is what I can buy it from you for. So that's the other thing is, collector guns and stuff like that, sometimes they're only worth what the market will bear. You can ask all you want for it, but really what the market will bear. It's what is people willing to shell out for it. Sometimes it's just not going to happen. So keep that in mind. If you ever got questions, I try to answer them about prices and stuff. But yeah, it's go figure that. I am. I bought some stuff that I could have bought two of them out here for the price that somebody was charging me back there on the island for one of them. So anyway, that's kind of how it goes. But I'm out here in the lower 48 and I've been having fun. So anyway, I will see you on the next week's show.